Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back and welcome to another live edition. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another one, another Sunday live. And you guys know the deal, man. You guys know what it's about on this channel, man. It's about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives, stopping them from rewriting history, guys. And in this live, we're going to talk about, whatever, because that's what we do on these lives. You guys know that. But there's some things that I want to touch on during this live. Once again, shout out to everybody out there that continues to come through, everyone across the world, everyone across the states that continue to support my lives, the videos, everything, man. Like I said, it really means a lot, guys. Anyone who donates to the channel, the emails, the comments you guys leave, man, it really means a lot for real. Like I said, man, shout out to everybody in the membership. And you guys know the deal, man. You guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos, these lives are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, once again, man, shout out to everybody out there. You guys know the deal, man. I had to hit you guys with another live stream. Shout out to Vanita Hawes out there, 2751. Shout out to Renee, always coming through. Dakota LaReed, always in there. Cameron MCOC, what up? Chris Garcia, shout out to you guys. Like I said, man, always coming through. It means a lot for you guys to continue to come through. Good morning to all you guys. It's about to be the afternoon over here. Once again, 11:30 over here on the East Coast. So shout out to everybody that's coming in. My man Chase 1738, shout out to you. My man coming through early always, man. Like I said, you guys always coming through. It means a lot. Love the Maskins, man. 1982, what up? Deal with it, coming through. Shout out to you guys, man. Good morning, my man TG. What up? How you guys doing? Old school NBA fan. What's going on? Omar, I see you out there, man. Shout out to you, Omar B, 2121. Ivan 1294, what up? I see you guys. You guys, let's roll. You guys know, man, we about to do it. You guys know. Michael Gill, what up, man? Good morning to all you guys out there. My man John Pettit, 6355. Laney Music, shout out to you. My man Gino Panzini, what's going on? John Freeman, you guys know the deal. Shout out to New York City. My man coming through early. You guys know the deal. Classic basketball DVDs. Shout out to you, man. Always representing my channel, man. Always sharing my stuff. What's going on, man? Hope you guys are doing good this morning. Hope you guys have been enjoying your holidays. My man coming through early. Judah, what up, man? Coming through. Judah's son, my man 1471. Like I said, I got a couple of things that I do want to talk about. The reason why I wanted to do another live this morning is because I saw some of you guys were asking why me and AOH had taken the live stream down from yesterday. So, you know how it is sometimes on YouTube, and you know how things have been going with my man AOH out here. So, with these copyright things and all these kinds of weird things out there, the music that we put on the live streams, some of the clips that we play, some of this stuff is weird. So, I took the live stream down based off those kinds of things, copyright problems and stuff like that. And I believe AOH put it up on his Patreon. So I could be mistaken, but I believe he put on the Patreon. So if you didn't see the live yesterday, that's kind of how it went, man. If you wasn't there live, you missed it. So once again, man, I know some of you guys were saying that, or asking me why I took the live down. So I was like, let me do another live today. And this one will be up. So if you're not able to catch this one live, you'll be able to catch this one later on. I'm going to leave this one up, because we're going to do our thing. I'm going to do my thing, and we're going to do what we always do on these live streams. So once again, shout out to all you guys coming through on a Sunday. It means a lot. You guys know the deal, man. Shout out to my man Demetrius coming through, as always. Like I said, man, you guys are always coming through. It really means a lot. My man Jan Von Doom, what up? True Spectre, what's going on? My man Hamzas, what's going on, man? Thank you very much. Shout out to all you guys, man, that continue to come through. One of the things that I wanted to touch on was some of the things that I didn't get to touch on yesterday in the live stream at AOH, because, there's so many things that, we talk about, and there's so many things, and there's so little time to talk about a lot of this stuff. I wanted to touch on the professionalism, some of the comments that JJ Redick made in the post game, professionalism more specifically, and really what it means to be a professional, and how a lot of these guys don't really understand, what it really means to be a pro. They don't take it serious like that. Like, to be called a pro, to be a pro, it's supposed to mean something. It used to matter. So I wanted to touch on that. I also wanted to touch on something that we didn't really get a chance to really go into, and LeBron James being a dirty player, man. And really, when you look at a lot of the AOH videos, really how dirty LeBron James is. And not only how dirty LeBron James on the basketball court, is how dirty he's been for a long, consistent time. He's been doing this for a long time now. So I wanted to touch on some of these. I also wanted to touch on, I didn't get a chance to mention this yesterday. One of Jim, shout out to my man Jim from Self Research NBA Facts. You guys know Jim, and shout out to Jim. Always comes. Look, we talk about self-research. I mean, this dude be doing research. We talking about, like I said, doing your homework and really putting stuff out, quality content. Shout out to my man Jim over there. He did a video like the other day, I think it was, talking about how LeBron James has never been on a team that's considered the greatest team of all time, right? Or one of the top 3 to 5 teams of all time, even the top 10, he said. And when you look at the numbers that he broke down, and I watched the entire video, I made a video, not too long ago, right? A couple days before that, about how LeBron James fans never talk about him leading the greatest team of all time. They always want to point in the direction of the competition, right? Because that's what it's about for LeBron James and his fans. It's about excusing the losses by pumping out the competition. So they'll never say, oh, LeBron James played on the greatest team of all time, because he ain't like that. They have to promote the losses. They have to promote the excuses and the competition. So shout out to my man Jim. And some of the things that he touched on in that video, some of the numbers that he put out. Like I said, if you guys haven't seen that video, you guys should go check it out. Because like I said, he really breaks down some of the wins versus the teams that they were playing, the win-loss percentages of these teams, and how dominant they were in the regular season versus the postseason. And he pointed out how, a lot of these LeBron James-led teams are, once again, not consistent. And when you look at the numbers and you look at the games and how they ended up winning some of these championships, that's what I'm always telling you guys. That's why you're 4-6 in the finals, not because of the elite competition that you played against versus no one else, because he broke down a lot of these other champions, like I said, that won a certain amount of games out there. Like I said, he did an excellent job in the video, really highlighting the things that I was telling you guys, and as to why no one considers LeBron James' team an all-time great team. Like, no one ever, you never hear anyone say, oh, yeah, man, the 2016 Cavaliers are the greatest team of all time. I mean, I've never heard anyone say that. I mean, if people have said that, it's perhaps a really crazy LeBron James fan. Even when you think about the Miami Heat team, as good as they were, to me, overall versus the other all-time great teams, they were never battle-tested like that versus the other all-time great teams because of the weak conference that they played in and the way that they stacked the odds to compete in that conference. I mean, it's laughable for people to really ever consider a LeBron James-led team to be one of the all-time great teams. So I definitely wanted, like I said, to put out and mention my man Jim and the work that he did in that video, highlighting everything that I was saying in the video that I had put out, talking about this stuff, man. It's just the facts of the nature, man. Like I said, when you break down some of the other great teams, some of the runs that they had, the teams that they had to compete against, the players that were leading some of these teams, I mean, it's like I said, it really shows. Like I said, he really gave you the numbers, right, to highlight these things. It's not just the emotions here or my opinion on this stuff. These are the facts, man. Like I said, ain't no one taking LeBron James' team over some of these other all-time great teams. Like I said, the Michael Jordan fans out there, a lot of other fans of other great players, Larry Bird, the Kobe Bryants, the Magic Johnsons, some of these great players, Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell, you can point to teams that they led that people consider either a top 3 or the greatest team of all time. A lot of people consider Larry Bird, Celtics of '86, one of the greatest teams of all time, if not the greatest team of all time, right? Right? Because of Larry Bird being on that team and what he could do along with the players around him. But it was Larry Bird galvanizing these people, right? Maximizing all of those guys around them, getting the most out of these guys, being the leader that he was, and once again, being the clutch time performer that he was. Magic Johnson, you can point to a couple of the Lakers teams that he led as being arguably a greatest or a top 3 team of all time. We all know about the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls teams. And what Jim highlighted in the video that he did was that there were several Michael Jordan teams that you could consider to be among the top 3 to 5 teams of all time based off of the numbers that he was breaking down. So once again, man, shout out to him and the work that he did out there, because these are the facts, man. Like I said, when you think about some of the great players that have been on some of these all-time great teams, I told you guys about Will Chamberlain's Sixers team that won, right? And how great that team was. When I talk about the sacrifice and the adjustments that Will Chamberlain made to his game, focusing on rebounding and defense, right? And the overall team play to help a team like the Sixers, get over the hump and win a championship in the 60s when there was nobody winning the championships in the 60s like that, except for the Celtics. We talked about teams like the 72 Lakers. Jim brought them up in the video and highlighted the kind of teams that they were going against, the competition that they went against, and the overall dominance of their overall regular season and the playoff run, right, up into the championship. So he mentioned a lot of these great teams, the 83 Sixers, he mentioned, right? So when you really think about some of the great players and some of the great teams, like I said, I'm never going to sit there and say, yeah, LeBron James 2020 Lakers or a top 3 team of all time or one of the greatest teams of all time. I've never thought that. I've never heard anyone say these kinds of things. When you look at a lot of these lists, you see teams like the 89 Pistons high on the list. Jim highlighted them in his video. And once again, the winning percentage, the dominance of them, a regular season and the postseason. and the players, like I said, the teams that they went against. All these things matter when you talk about some of these runs for some of the great teams. Like I said, they were battle tested in their conference, going against some of these teams year after year after year, not taking shortcuts, right? This is what LeBron James did. So once again, shout out to my man Jim. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk about, I wanted to tell you guys a story about a Michael Jordan story, not my own personal story. I know I tell you guys a lot of personal stories. Once again, shout out to all you guys out there. My man Callie Young, Chip Ferguson, I see you out there. Shout out to you guys for always coming through. You guys know the deal, man. These are the facts, man. Like you said, man. Like I said, Curry is the player of his era. And that's part of the thing. We talk about the dynasties, right? LeBron James fans will be talking about, oh, he had to play against dynasties. Michael Jordan didn't have to play against dynasties. They're trying to take credit away from Michael Jordan and other great players because they were the dynasties. They were the great teams because those players were able to lead dynasties. Oh, Michael Jordan didn't have to go against dynasties. Yeah, because he was the guy building the dynasty. That's why the other players weren't winning. You guys are only highlighting the grace of Michael Jordan. I don't understand these arguments. Like I said, you're promoting mediocrity and making excuses for losing. And they always have tried to take away from Michael Jordan's 2 3-peats. You guys ever notice? They never even mention 3-peats anymore. They just forget. They don't even mention this stuff anymore. Michael Jordan's champion. He ain't playing against nobody. Michael Jordan 6-0. No, it's 2 3-peats, you fools. Don't forget that. Don't forget it. But LeBron James fans, some of these people out here in the media, they're trying to, like I said, lie about Michael Jordan and rewrite the history, promote all this other nonsense. They try to forget about Michael Jordan's 2 3-peats, man. Don't y'all forget that. I remember as a kid growing up, and as I got older, talking basketball with my father. And my father's not one of these guys like this huge Michael Jordan guy. And my dad was always promoting Michael Jordan when I was growing up. That's not how I grew up. I told you, my dad talked about all the great players. He was always telling me about Dr. J and all these other guys and how they were doing this stuff before. So my dad's not one of these guys that was lying about Michael Jordan when I was growing up trying to pump him up and I was in this kind of household doing these kinds of things. But I remember as I got older, man, and now I'm in my 40s, whenever I talk basketball with my dad, whenever Michael Jordan comes up or we're watching a game and they bring up Michael Jordan or whatever the case may be, my dad always says the same things to me. He's like, Robin, he's like, man, Michael Jordan's focus is just crazy, man. The focus that he had. He's like, Robin, he's like 2 3-peats, man. He's like, not 1, 2. He's like, man, the focus. That's what my dad always talks about. The 2 3-peats, man. People have just been like, oh, it's not a big deal anymore. They act like, oh, the Michael Jordan fans, that's all y'all bring up is 6-0. Nah, it's 2 3-peats, you fools. Don't get it twisted. You see, I added this poster, right? I had to move my man Schwarzenegger. Shout out to my man Arnold Schwarzenegger in the tournament. I didn't throw the poster away. I had to move the poster to another wall. But I just got this poster in during Christmas, man. And you see this man slam dunking, almost jumping over Scott Skiles. All right? Once again, man, it's 2 3-peats. Imagine if LeBron James had 2 3-peats on his resume. Imagine if he was 6-0 in the finals. What would Nick Wright be saying? What would Kendrick Perkins be saying? That's all they would talk about. That's all LeBron James fans would want to talk about. Yo, 2 3-peats. Wake me up when Jordan got 2 3-peats. That's all they would say. That's all they would talk about. Now all of a sudden we want to act like 2 3-peats is easy? Why? Because he ain't play nobody? No. That's why it was so crazy that he had the 2 3-peats. Because we were like, damn, how the hell did Patrick Ewing can't break in there? Charles Barkley could. I told you guys in 93, Charles Barkley was playing out of his mind. Charles Barkley was doing everything he could do. The man was playing with a destroyed elbow. He was out there just giving everything he got. Shout out to Charles Barkley, man, because I said he competed in them. I've watched them finals over and over and over and over and over again. That man was out there giving his all. You know what the problem was with Charles Barkley? Michael freaking Jordan averaged 41, man. That's what happened. He didn't choke it up. He didn't go and average 31 or 27. He didn't average 17. He averaged 41, an NBA record. That's why Charles Barkley does not have a championship and some of these other freaking guys. Remember Clyde Drexler in 1992? What did Michael Jordan do? He took it personal and went out there in game 1 and destroyed the man. Destroyed him. And what happened in game 5 with the series tied 2 games apiece? He dropped 40 plus. in game 5. He didn't choke it up in game 5 and drop 22 or drop 11 or go score 8 points and disappear. He dropped 40 plus in a pivotal game 5. These guys were in those series, but Michael Jordan raised up. Talk to me. 2 damn three-peats out here, man. Them dudes was playing. What happened in the flu game? That's a game 5. It was 2 games apiece. It's not my fault. You can call it what you want to call it. You can say it's the flu. You can say he had a stomach bug. You can say it's food poisoning. I don't care what you call it. The man was still a game 5. And the man went out there and balled out. On fumes, and the Bulls were getting blown out in the first part of that game. Blown out. Where was Pippen? Where the hell was he? There's nowhere. These are the moments I'm talking about. Pippen was great, man. But these were the moments. Getting carried off. Remember he hit the 3-pointer at the end to seal it? He didn't miss the shot. You know what's funny? Sometimes they bring up the Karl Malone missed free throws, right? Once again, when Karl Malone missed these free throws, right? These are moments in some of these guys' careers. Who gets the rebound? Michael Jordan does. So when you talk about the moments and talk about the plays, the hustle plays, Michael Jordan is there more often than not, man. This man's doing everything. He's everywhere. He got the rebound. I ain't trying to tell me something, man. I told you don't gotta think Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. I'm not out here preaching that. I'm giving you the facts. You feel how you want to feel about them joints. Don't come out here and tell me he didn't play nobody. Them dudes wasn't good. When we watched the teams that he played against, those guys were battle tested. All those teams in the West, they was going against each other. They didn't just fall into the finals. They were the 2020 Miami Heat. The hell out of here. Playing some fools out here, man. Playing battle-tested teams. Playing a 2012 Oklahoma City Thunder when everybody's 21 and 22. And I'm not knocking them dudes out there, man, because them dudes was playing, they playing and doing their thing. But Michael Jordan was going against battle-tested teams. All right? Guys that had been there. Guys that had earned it. Guys that had the scars. Going against grown men. Like I said, these guys were earning it there. Now I'll be rambling off. I wanted to tell my story. So anyway, let's get back to the story here. Now, the story that I want to talk about with Michael Jordan, this goes back to his second year in the NBA. All right, it's after his rookie season. This is going into his second season in the NBA. And the reason why I wanted to tell you guys this story, maybe some of you guys have heard about this time, is because this speaks to what Michael Jordan was talking about when he says that he built his brand on the court, right? And that's what it was about for Michael Jordan. He had to go out there and put on a show and perform. And that's why it was about, like, how he became a Be Like Mike type of scenario. So, I was out on the internet the other day, and I came across this story of Michael Jordan performing, and it was called Full Court with Michael Jordan. And this goes back to September 14th, 1985. Once again, shout out to all you guys. I'll be rambling on and stuff, man. Shout out to my man Bernard Kemp out there. Gary A, what up, man? Like I said, man, shout out to all you guys, man, that continue to come through, man. It means a lot. My man Boom Shakalaka. So, 1985, September 14th. This is about a month before the season's about to start. And Michael Jordan makes an appearance. Like I said, it was called Full Court with Michael Jordan. And it was a charity basketball game that took place at Illinois State University. I believe it took place at one of the sporting complexes out there. It's called, I wrote this down. It's called the Horton Fieldhouse. Shout out to anybody that is from around that area in Illinois, the Horton that knows the legendary Horton Fieldhouse. And that's where this took place, like I said, back in 1985. And it was a charity basketball game, I think for like Special Olympics was the charity. that was the money was going to be donated, the proceeds to this event. And it was Michael Jordan. I wrote this stuff down, so guys, excuse me for reading this off real quick. It was Michael Jordan in the WBNQ Cheap Shots versus the Twin City All-Stars. Now, the research that I've gathered and did on this event is really interesting because, like I said, we're talking about Michael Jordan going into his second season in the NBA. This is part of him building his Air Jordan brand, right? Going out here and doing these kinds of events. When Michael Jordan talks about having a love of the game clause in his contract, which he talked about, right, during those insights to excellence, right, these interviews that Michael Jordan's been doing. When you're talking about the love of the game clause, these are the kinds of things he's talking about. When you think about certain times of Michael Jordan's early career, building the brand, which is Air Jordan, the Jumpman logo, all of these kinds of things, Michael Jordan doing these kinds of events was commonplace. Doing these kinds of events, having these games. Think about Michael Jordan in the shattered backboard, right? You guys remember that Michael Jordan dunking in the backboard shattering? You guys know that took place in Italy. That happened in a charity event in Italy. That wasn't even in America. That was overseas in a charity event in Italy when Michael Jordan shattered the backboard out there. They actually have a sneaker to commemorate that event. So these are the kinds of things that Michael Jordan was doing all throughout the early years of his career. So in 1985, at this event, like I said, at the Horton Fieldhouse in Illinois, Michael Jordan played in this charity game and dropped 71 points. Now, the only reason I'm telling you guys this, that he scored 71 points, it's not because, Michael Jordan's the GOAT. He scored 71 points in a charity game. No, what I'm highlighting to you is that Michael Jordan went out there and scored 71 points in this charity game because that's what they wanted to see Michael Jordan do, right? Michael Jordan, once again, understood why he was there, what he was doing out here in these moments. So when Michael Jordan goes out there and drops the 71 points in this charity event, and he puts on a show for the people. I'm out there reading articles on the internet, reading some of these articles that they did back in this time from some of these newspapers, the local newspapers. And this is what they're talking about, interviewing people, talking about, the joy that they got watching Michael Jordan fly through the air. They're interviewing the other players that played against Michael Jordan on the court, the guys that played with him. A lot of the players, the other guys on the team, I believe they were former college players for, I think, Indiana State. Illinois State University. I believe a couple of the guys actually tried out or were on NBA teams and had recently been cut that were in this charity event. So it wasn't just these guys off the street. These were guys that actually can play basketball, that can get up and down the court, or that were athletic. So like I said, it was a fun, entertaining thing. And Michael Jordan went out there and did what Michael Jordan, did at this time. He went out there and was Air Jordan. Some of the things and some of the clips, like I said, I saw some of the pictures of Michael Jordan. It was fantastic where you saw Michael Jordan. I actually saw some video on YouTube of Michael Jordan in this charity event. So when we talk about the love of the game, guys, and we're talking about Michael Jordan building up his brand, I want you guys to think about something. There was about 6,000 people there, right? I believe they raised something like $25,000 or something like that for charity for the Special Olympics. So shout out to all the people that came out there for that event, man, and had those memories. I'm sure there are people that have pictures of this event. You see a lot of the things, the thumbnail of this live stream was Michael Jordan signing autographs. So imagine if you were there, you paid $5 to go see Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, before he became obviously who he became. But this is him building up to that legend. You got to see Michael Jordan get autographs made from Michael Jordan that to this day, I mean, my goodness, imagine having a Michael Jordan autograph from that moment or a picture with Michael Jordan from that moment, because it means more because it's Michael Jordan really before he ascended to what he is now. So to me, that's even more special because like I said, you got to capture and witness Michael Jordan when he was still able to be touched, when he was still real. That's why I saw it was interesting that the title was called Full Court with Michael Jordan, because these people were allowed to touch Michael Jordan, man. They were allowed to be there with Michael Jordan in this moment. Like I said, and really have something to take away from that. Like I said, the joy that they got watching him, the memories that they have. Like I said, maybe people who were children at the time, people who maybe were older, they remember this. But one of the things I thought was interesting is as I'm reading the article, they mentioned the head coach of the teams. Oh, this guy was coaching this team, and I didn't realize. But they mentioned how Stan Albrecht, who was the Chicago Bulls head coach during this time, Michael Jordan's second season in the NBA, he was the head coach of this charity team. So when I'm reading the article, they're talking to him after the game, right? And he says what? I'm just happy that Michael Jordan came away injury-free, quote-unquote injury-free. That was his exact words that he said after this charity event, really being thankful that Michael Jordan wasn't hurt. Remember, this is going into his second season, guys. So what would have happened just a month later, guys? Michael Jordan would go down with the foot injury October 29th of 1985. Well, they said almost a little bit over a month later. This event happened on September 14th of 1985. And Stan Albright talking in that article about really being thankful that Michael Jordan didn't get hurt out there on the court. And why was he thankful? Because he saw, and they were asking him about the way Michael Jordan was playing out there on the court. He was out there doing all these crazy things and, they said putting on a show for these people in a game that, obviously meant nothing overall as far as his career or the impact of his NBA legend. But once again, it was about building his brand, who he was. This is what it's about for Michael Jordan. No matter where he is, he gonna go out there and ball. You know what I'm saying? He gonna lollygag. It was always like that from day one. That's how the legend became. So I thought that story was really interesting, and I thought it was a great insight to Michael Jordan when he says, I built my brand on the court. Those are the moments that people left, that arena with, where they were like, yo, I got to go get them shoes. I got to go get them Air Jordans. I got it for real, because the man went out there and was doing things. And like I said, when you listen to the comments, when you read the comments in the article from the people that were on the court playing against him and playing with him, like I said, sensational. This is why Michael Jordan is recognized the way that he is, man. Yo, shout out to all you guys out there, man, that continue to come through. You guys know I be going off on my little rambling rants. So once again, shout out if I didn't shout you guys out. I thought I saw someone come through with the super. Much respect, my man Mason coming through with the super. Shout out to you. LeBron James is just another King Midas. Shout out to you for coming through. Much respect. Thank you very much, man. King James. Once again, when you think about the King James moniker, it's really funny to me that they've continued to promote, this narrative. Like I said, this lie that LeBron James has ever really been a king or someone who you would consider, quote unquote, kingly. I mean, like I said, think about what you've done here. You've taken that term, being a king, and what it really is supposed to signify and mean, and you lower it down to not even really signify anything. That's the sadness, of that term. And then using that, remember the chosen one. You think about the chosen one, that's actually supposed to mean something. That's supposed to be like, yo, the chosen one. If LeBron James was really the quote unquote chosen one, then to me, his dimensions to me would have been built, he would have been built differently. Because when I look at Michael Jordan, to me, Michael Jordan's body, his dimensions, to me, his hands, his arms, like everything with Michael Jordan, the way that he walks, his gait, everything, the way that he moved on the court, everything to me, he seemed more chosen. And I told you guys, he seemed like he was made to play basketball. Like he was just made to play basketball. So when you talk about, LeBron James, the chosen one, none of these monikers or nicknames seem to add up to me or make any sense. It's not applicable for LeBron James. Big King stuff, why would a king take a shortcut? Why? Like I said, it doesn't make any sense. Your kingdom is hollow. It's not true. It's not legit. When we talk about, becoming a king, let's say, or LeBron James becoming a champion because he took a shortcut and he tried to stack all the odds in his favor, it's almost as be you getting your crown through treachery. You guys remember the movie Lion King, right? The animated film from back in the day. How did Scar become, the line, the head of the line of the pride? Right, through treachery. Right, he had to get Mufasa through treachery. He couldn't become the king, right, through his own, greatness or whatever he had inside of him. He had to try to become the leader of the pride through treachery. And this is what LeBron James did. He became a champion, a king through treachery, not through truth, not through honor. These are where things like honor come in. Kings are supposed to be honorable. I mean, listen, this is how I look at these things, man. Like I said, I could be off on maybe some of this stuff, but to me, that's how I look at a lot of these qualities or these people having these kinds of qualities. That's the standard that once again, we talk about standards. You're supposed to be held to a higher standard. The king's not supposed to be having excuses made for him. Once again, what kind of kingdom are you running? You want to be people, you leading the people or the people leading you? You making excuses? You look at the people, you blaming the people? That's what LeBron James, he blames the people. That's always the people's fault. Damn, it's the people's fault, man. Y'all ain't doing enough. Y'all supposed to lift me up. Now the king's supposed to lift up the people. They're following you. You're the damn king. Chosen one, but we can argue he wasn't even supposed to be rookie of the year. He's a chosen one, but didn't make an all-star team his rookie year. Doesn't seem like you're chosen to me. I mean, Michael Jordan came in, smoking. I mean, my goodness. So, once again, man, shout out to everybody that went out there to that event out there in the Illinois State University over in the Horton Fieldhouse. Shout out to anybody out there from that area. Now, something else I wanted to talk about is this whole thing with Michael Jordan, with LeBron James, and this professionalism. Because when we talk about some of these qualities, professionalism is some of the things that we've talked about. And I told you guys in the video, it was JJ Redick's post-game comments about the Lakers, right? He said they didn't care enough. And he talked about certain people, right, certain players on the team, and the lack of professionalism from these guys. Now, some of the things that I think that he's talking about is their professionalism as it pertains to the approach to the game plan, all these kinds of things. Because, when you watch a lot of basketball, when you watch some of this stuff, when you watch LeBron James, what are the problems with LeBron James? Not only is his lack of effort glaring, right? We see it all the time. The effort's not there. But also the lack of the low IQ plays that you see over and over and over and over again. LeBron James standing there and just being a low IQ basketball player on the defensive end. So these are the kinds of things that we're talking about, not being a professional, not paying attention to the game plan, not being prepared to come in there and doing the things necessary to compete at a high level, to have your team out there, like I said, trying to win basketball games. Because ultimately, that's why you're out there playing. You're supposed to be trying to compete to win basketball games at the end of the day. So when you talk about being a professional, like I said in the intro, the term to be a professional, or what it really means to be a pro, like I said, it's not just about sports. In society, police officers, right? You see them on the news a lot. You see firemen on the news a lot. You see EMTs, right? Quote unquote first responders. You see these kinds of people on the news a lot. Sometimes they're on the news for good things. Sometimes on the news for bad things, right? You're watching a fire, right? A building, and a lot of people lose their homes, man. Right? These are terrible things that happen. So you're witnessing this stuff on the news, and you're watching firemen go out here and do terrible things, right? Or not do terrible things, but have to go out there and battle against terrible things, right? And they're going out there and they're trying to salvage things for people who have lost everything now. You see police on the news, and they're fighting against crazy people, and they're doing this. But sometimes you see people on the news for the wrong reasons. And police officers are, once again, they're supposed to be held to a higher standard, right? That's why a lot of these people are there. So when you talk about, some of these things, this is what we talk about being a professional. Police officers are professionals. Firemen, they're professionals. These EMT people are professionals. These are supposed to be professionals. Your job, you're a pro. This is the burden that you have when you do certain things, when you have a certain level or a certain profession, right? Doctors, right? You're supposed to be professional. You're supposed to be goofing around and doing certain things and messing around when you have people's lives in your hands. Are you going to be goofing around and joking around in a surgery? No, you're supposed to be professional when you're doing these kinds of things. I told you, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life. We have seemed to, like I told you, we've devalued ourselves and some of the things that we do because we think it's a joke. We don't take it serious and understand how this affects other people in society. I give you guys the same example all the time. I told you guys about when I was working UPS as a side job to make some extra money during the holidays some years back, right? A little bit during COVID time, a little bit around COVID time. And I remember, like I said, having conversation with some of these younger guys, because I was an older guy there, versus some of these other, these are young guys doing this stuff, man. And, some of the guys coming up to me and telling me or asking me, why I'm always going and doing the hardest job there, or, why am I always, going like, 100 miles an hour, essentially the way that I am doing these shows. And I told you guys about the pride that I have doing the job. And if I'm going to do a job, I'm going to do it the best way that I can do it. But I remember working with some of these young kids, man. And like I said, 22, 23, 24, 25 years old, some of these dudes. And I remember them throwing people's boxes around. And I remember, asking some of these guys, and I was like, you guys like be kind of reckless when you guys are throwing some of these boxes, man. And like, not to say that to them, like, yo, I'm gonna get you in trouble, because who the hell am I? But I was saying to them as if you're not gonna get in trouble for this. Like, yo, like they were throwing TVs around and stuff. Like they were throwing things around that you shouldn't have been throwing around. Like I wouldn't have appreciated as a customer if you were throwing around my stuff that I ordered. You know, like I said, this during the holidays that I was working this. So if I'm ordering gifts for people, some of this stuff you're trying to get is not easy to get, man. Like you're trying to, you know, get things before they get sold out. And you got dudes out here in these trucks throwing your stuff around. And I'm not shouting these dudes out. Obviously, I'm not putting people's names out or putting, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? You know, UPS is a dirtbag place. That's not what it's about, man, because these kinds of things happen all over the world. That's the problem with the world. The problem with society overall. I told you, people don't give a damn. They don't care because they look at it as, oh, it's not affecting me. It's not my stuff. Who cares? I'll just toss it. That's a terrible way to go through the world and to go through life. Because I told you, we all live in a society, guys. All of us. So we have to remember this once again. These are the kinds of things that I tell you guys contributing to a society. You're not being professional. That's not professional, man. And people might laugh and say, oh, you're just a guy in the back of a truck, you know, making, you know, barely that much money. I think I was making like $15 or $17 an hour or whatever it was to hump these hard or heavy ass boxes for hours. But it wasn't necessarily about, like I said, oh, I'm going to do a certain job a certain way because I'm making a certain amount of money. It's about, once again, me and the principles and the values I hold myself to. Like I said, I wouldn't want someone throwing my boxes around. So I'm not going to throw some random person's boxes around in the truck and think it's funny. So, like I said, even if people want to say, hey, these are younger people, I get that. But these are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. Who's teaching you these things? Where are you getting this from? Where's your sense of pride in the job that you're doing? And like I said, the impact that you have on other people. It doesn't make sense to me. Like I said, I'm not judging these other people, these other guys. When I was there, like I said, I didn't care what they did. They were doing it. But I found it really interesting and funny that they were doing it. And when I asked the guys about that stuff, because like I said, I thought this was crazy that they were doing this stuff. It was no big deal to them. I remember coming home and to my wife and telling my wife about this. And I was like, yo, these guys are just throwing baggages, boxes around here like crazy stuff. And I was like, yo, this is nuts. And they was like, yo, man, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, yo, like I said, if that was my stuff, yo, I'd be tight. I'd be like, yo, why y'all throwing my box around like this? It's crazy, man. Like I said, but people don't think that they think their job is so minimal. Oh, who cares, man? I'm just working in the back of a truck. Nah, man, you're part of a bigger chain here. I don't get, like, people don't understand this. Don't you understand? You're part of something bigger. You're in that line. Yeah, maybe you're not getting all the money and the fame. You're not the CEO. You're not in this guys. But damn it, your job is just as important. I remember when I was in the military, and some people's jobs are quote unquote more dangerous than others. Some people's jobs put them in harm's way more frequently than other people's, right? Not everybody's a Navy SEAL. Not everybody's doing some crazy commando getting dropped in jungles and stuff like that. Not everybody's doing the same thing. Not everybody is getting exposed to a lot of this stuff. But everybody's job is important. If the cook ain't cooking the food, you ain't gonna have no damn energy to fight. Everybody's job is important. Everyone has to be doing their job in the military. It's not just the guys in the front line. They're just the commandos or the elite force. Everyone has got to be doing their damn job. Everybody. Everyone's job is important. And if you don't look at your job that way, then everything falls apart, man. It falls apart. Society falls apart. People don't take it serious. These are the little things I talk about on my fitness channel. When I talk about people's overall health, they don't take the little things serious. Every little decision that you make in your life as it pertains to what you put inside of your body, what you're eating, the lack of activity that you expose yourself to, the laziness that you don't fight against. Once again, this is what builds up. This is what happens to us. This is why we look like hell. People feel like crap. You know what's crazy, guys? And I know I'm rambling on, guys, so forgive me once again. I went to turn on one of my videos the other day because I wanted to check something out that I thought I had said. From time to time, I will rewatch my videos. You guys know I put my videos just on post them up. I don't even proofread these things or edit these videos. But sometimes I'll go back and look and be like, maybe I think I said something or I didn't say something that I wanted to say. I go back to listen to it. So I click on my video the other day. And forgive me for saying this, guys. But the ad that popped up on my video, I was offended by this ad. I was offended, guys, by this ad. This woman came on the ad and she says, my man effed me for 3 hours straight last night. Guys, she said he effed me for 3 hours straight last night, and they were promoting one of those pills. One of these pills, man. This is the ad that popped up on my video. Now, listen. Listen. Listen, man. Listen. These are the things I'm talking about in society. I'm telling you guys out there, right? When I talk about we feel like crap, we look like crap, it all goes down to the lack of confidence that we have in ourselves, how we feel about ourselves, right? So when you're making bad nutritional choices, you're not making a smart nutritional choice consistently, then you're not going to feel that good. I tell people all the time, your body is going to give you the signs and symptoms that you're not doing something right. So whether you're on the toilet bowl a lot, maybe you got diarrhea all the time, you're going to the bathroom a lot, that's your body telling you something. Stop eating this crap. Right? Maybe you had to throw up or something, right? You're nauseous. Your body's telling you something. Maybe your body's aching. People think they're aching because they exercise or they, oh, mom, I'm aching. I can't go exercise. I got a bad knee. No, you have bad knees and a bad back and a bad ankle and a bad shoulder and a bad hip and a lot of this stuff because you ain't doing nothing. You're like the Tin Man out there. You got to break free of the rust. Get up off your ass. Do something. Because once again, the more you do, the better you eat, the better you will feel about yourself, which leads me once again to this woman talking about her man and this dude doing this for 3 hours. I'm going to tell you guys right the hell now. I'm 45 years old, man. All right? And listen, like I said, I've been with my wife for a long time, man. A long time, guys. All right? But I've been with different women, man. All right? We all, listen, I ain't trying to have sex with no woman for 3 hours. Who the hell's having sex for 3 freaking hours? This is insane. This is weird. The fact that she said this on an ad and she cursed, she actually said the word, she cursed. That's insane to me. This is ridiculous. Why are you promoting this to men? Who are you promoting this to? What grown-ass man thinks they have to F a woman for 3 straight hours? And what are you proving by doing this? And my God, you have nothing else to do with your day? 3 hours? That doesn't even make any sense. That's not enjoyable. That's not great. This is not fun. That's insane. What is this, a movie? I mean, my God. Like I said, what are we promoting here? So, once again, my goodness. Like I said, yo, if you could knock boots with your woman for 3 straight hours, yo, man, great for you. By all means, man, yo, shout out to you. Much respect to you, man. You are the man. You are truly the man. I tell you right the hell now, I'm not doing it. I'm not. There's no way in hell, man. That's crazy. That's boring as hell. 3 hours of sex? I'm good on that. I'm good. But we were on the professionalism. Professionalism. All right? Professionalism. All right? Man, the way that I sweat, man, 3 hours of sex, man, that's all getting greasy as hell. We start sliding all over the place. Start dripping all over. Man, I've been there, done it with my wife. Dripping all on my wife, man, in the middle. Come on, man. This is getting all crazy up here. I don't even know what we're talking about right now. Shout out to all you guys, man, who be rolling with me and bearing with me with some of this stuff that I be saying, man. But I'm just saying, man, it's just like I said, it's weird that they put this ad on my video, man. I was offended. I was offended. Y'all don't listen. Guys, you don't need that stuff. You don't need no pill. You're going to be all right, man. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be all right. Don't worry about it, man. Because I said, believe in yourself, man. Next time you with a woman, man, and you think that, oh, man, I ain't going to last long enough. Don't worry about that. You're going to be all right, man. You a man. You're going to be good. I'm telling you right now, you have to believe in yourself. It goes with everything. You a man, damn it. Have some damn confidence in yourself. Step out there. That's right, ladies. Who wants some of this? But 3 hours is insane. But don't stress it. Don't worry about it. Make a smart nutritional choice, like I said. Get some exercise. Move around a little bit. You're going to be all right. You guys know that. Once again, man, shout out to all you guys. Yo, my God, man. These live shows, I'm telling you, man, insane. Insane. But like I was saying, guys, you have a responsibility to be a professional, right? And that's what being a professional means. When you talk about, the people are saying things in the crowd, you have to be a professional sometimes, man. I get it. It's people say crazy things. You got to be a professional. There's been certain scenarios in my life, and I've never been like, I don't consider myself a professional, but when I was a correction officer, I was a professional correction officer, man. I was a professional, right? When I was in the military, I'm supposed to be professional, right? I was in the military. I'm representing the United States. If I'm out somewhere doing something, even if I'm not in uniform, right? I'm at home somewhere. If I do something wrong and they put me in the news and they put my face up there in the article, you know what it's going to say? It's going to say U.S. Navy veteran. That's what it's going to say, right? So once again, when I was in the military, I was representing the United States. I was representing myself, representing my family, right? My name going out there. So if I'm doing certain things, then that's going to be a problem, right? But I remember there were times, because when I was in the military, there was a war going on, right? But then not everybody was on board with the war, right? It's never always 100% of anything a lot of times. People have opinions out here, right? But I remember times when I was driving into the base, man, down in Virginia, and people were protesting against us, man, against the war. And they weren't happy about what was going on. So they may not have been necessarily protesting against me personally, but they were saying and yelling things at us when we were driving onto the base because they felt a certain way about the war. So you have to understand that there are always going to be people out there that maybe say crazy things, that do crazy things, but there are certain, like, am I going to stop my car and get out there and start punching people and be like, yo, man, how dare you, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know you. These guys don't want to be pros. We talking about showing up to work 82 games a night, right? 82 games a season, showing up to work. That's part of being a professional. Not making excuses, that's part of being a professional, right? These guys think just because they get paid a lot of money to do something that makes them a pro. I told you guys, it's not about the money. I told you I was making no money on my son's other jobs. Ain't about the money. Once again, man, you're not a pro because you're getting paid a lot of money. You're getting paid a lot of money because you're a pro. That's why you're getting paid, because you're a pro. And what comes with being a pro? It's not easy. It's never supposed to be easy. Never. Never supposed to be easy, y'all. They ain't never gonna be easy. I told you that's why we were growing up. We marveled at these guys. We were like, damn. They were like heroes to us, superheroes. Them guys played through injuries, and you were like, damn, how these guys playing through this? How is he still going out there? You look at some of these guys' training regimens, and you're like, damn, how these guys training like that? It's insane. You watch the effort that these guys give on the court consistently, night after night after night, and you were like, damn, you marveled at it. Now you're like, yo, these guys are never there. And there are little minor things that keep a lot of these guys out that we talk about of these guys back in the day. They pushed through this stuff. And that's, like I said, that's why you marveled at them. That's why we looked at them differently. That's why I said they were true professionals. Showing up to work is a huge part of being a professional, because when you're a pro and you're showing up, even though there are all these kinds of things going on around you, all these problems going on, but you still show up, that means a lot. That's what being a pro is. You have to put a lot of this stuff aside sometimes. I told you, one of the things I always mention is what? I said these guys play through a lot of pains and personal problems. We don't know what's going on in the background and the personal lives of any of these guys. So those guys were obviously playing through those personal problems. You're telling me those guys' lives were great? Oh, those guys were great. That's why they showed 82 games more. No, those guys were playing through that stuff. If they were going through a divorce, or they were having some argument or disagreement with their girlfriend, or whatever the case may be, right? something's going on with their children, right? A lot of these guys are playing through this stuff. I mean, I don't understand it. These guys now, everything's always an excuse now. But those guys were doing the same thing back. Those guys in their personal lives. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You guys know these are the facts, man. So like I said, remember, it's never supposed to be easy to be a professional, right? That's why you get paid the big bucks, because you guys are supposed to go out there, give the effort, man, show up to work. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not. That's why you guys are supposed to get the respect. You guys don't want to earn it, though. You don't want to earn it no more. Get out of here with this nonsense. Shout out to all the rugby players out there. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I didn't see the comments. I don't know how we got on rugby in the comment section, but shout out to you guys. I see Ric Flair. Ric Flair. I mean, listen, like I said, man, remember, guys, you don't need that nonsense. All right, I know we're joking around with a lot of this stuff, man, but I'm being for real. Like I said, I've been there. I was young too, man. I was 18 and 22 and 21 and 25. Yo, guys, I was in the Navy in other countries. I was in these other countries, man, and the women were loving us out there. They was, man. Right? So I get all this stuff, man. You want to represent it. You want to, you know what I'm saying, do your thing. And like I said, man, don't worry about that stuff. You're going to be all right. That's what I'm saying. Like you have to have the confidence in yourself. This stuff is all in your mind, man. Don't be depending on these pills, these powders, these chemicals, these drugs. You don't need this nonsense. People, like I say, young people out there that, want to get buff and take steroids. I get it. I get it, man. I've been in the health defense my entire life. I get it. I never once even thought about doing none of that kind of nonsense, man. I told you, that's not health and fitness. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about, man. I remember seeing kids. I remember when I came home on my first leave from the military, and I saw some younger kids that were like freshmen when I was like a senior in high school. And now this is some years later now. And now they're like seniors in high school now, right? And this some years later. And I come home on leave and I see some of these guys and they roll up on me like, yo, what's up, man? Yo, and these kids is all blown up now, man. All looking crazy, muscular, and all veins everywhere and stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, I remember seeing them in the mall, and I was like, oh, it's crazy. And I was not impressed at all with how they looked. I was actually kind of, I was worried about them. I was actually worried about these dudes, man, because I said they didn't look good, man, but they thought that they did. And, it was part of a problem, like I said, that you see now, right? With a lot of these kids out here doing a lot of this crazy stuff and people thinking they need to take some of these kinds of pills. Like I said, I was offended, but they would put a commercial, an ad on my channel like that. But I don't promote that kind of stuff on my channel, and I would never promote that. If they ever asked me, hey, man, we'll give you $1 million to go promote the Frank Thomas Total T, or we'll give you $1 million to promote this Rose Sparks, or I don't even know, whatever the hell this thing's called. You know what I'm saying? So that these dudes can take these pills so that they can do whatever with their lady for 3 hours. Yo, man, I'm not doing this. I would never do that. And I would tell them, yo, I'm offended you even asked me this. All right? Because that's not what my channel's about. Yo, I remember one time I got sent an email from some company and they asked me to promote something, right? On my fitness channel. And I went immediately to find out, and to look into who these people were. It was a piece of equipment that they wanted me to promote. And it's nothing crazy, right? No name brand stuff. This is not like me getting, some crazy promoted deal. But I found it interesting that they reached out to me to promote this piece of equipment. So I looked into this company, and what did I really look into? I wasn't necessarily concerned about some of the details about how the company started or some of these other things. What I really wanted to look into was the reviews, what people were saying about this company in relation to how they've done business with them, how things were going, maybe their customer service, right? The feedback that they've gotten from this company, the product itself, how it worked for them and how they felt, like I said, if there was a problem with the product, that these people respond to that. And what I found out is that these people were scamming a lot of these people out of money. So I looked at some of the reviews, and the reviews started to become very consistent with people writing the same thing over and over and over and over again about this company and how they were trying to return the product was defective or whatever the case may be, and they were trying to get a refund and then not getting back to them and not responding to them. So all these kinds of things, and I kept reading more and more of these kinds of emails and posts, about this company. So I responded to these people and I said, listen, based on the research that I've done, I would never do business with a company like you. And I told them why. I said, I went and read reviews on this website. I read reviews here on this website. I went to several places to check reviews here, man. And I told them about this stuff. And I said, if you can show me proof and evidence that you've refunded these people or that you have satisfied these people or whatever they had a problem with your company and your product, then I would consider maybe promoting your product on my channel. I was like, until you can do this, y'all can hit the bricks. That's what I told these fools. And you know what I heard back from them? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. So once again, this is what we talk about, man, with some of these people out here. When I talk about selling your integrity and stuff, this is what I'm talking about, man. I wasn't going to get paid $1 million to promote this product. Who knows if I would have made $1 off of this product in the promotion of it. But once again, it's not like, hey, I can promote something. Let me just try to promote something. I've never done anything like that on my channel. Do you see me promoting things on my channel? Do you see me running stuff like, hey, man, I want to do this ad or this promo for this. No, it's not what it's about here. It's never been about that. And I would never promote something that, number one, I would not use myself, or number two, that I have not used and proved that it's actually worth me actually standing behind it. Once again, because like I said, I hold myself to a high standard. So I'm going to hold these products and these same people to the same damn standards. So I'm not going to promote some random product. I'm not going to promote some damn product because you're going to pay me some money to promote it, man. The hell out of here. The hell out of here. Like I said, I don't give a damn about no damn money. You think I care about money? I never had no damn money. Who cares about damn money, man? That's I got other things to worry about. I got my health, man. I got my family, man, and my family got their health. So other than that, man, I'm good. So whatever's going on in other people's lives and they feel that the money's going to satisfy this stuff, man, it don't make no sense, man. Like I said, you got to hold yourself to a standard here. When we talk about these LeBron James fans and these weird things that they do, guys, it all comes back to this stuff. All these stories I'm giving you, the scenarios I've told you guys about, all these things all goes back to this stuff, guys. You think about LeBron James and his fans. Do they hold him to any of these kinds of standards? Does LeBron James seem like a professional to you? Does he come across as a professional? He's not professional. When JJ Redick talks about these guys' lack of professionalism, dude, you're a clown because you're the same fool that got this clown out there for all these minutes. These guys don't understand this stuff. You know, I've rambled on here, guys. Forgive me, man. Shout out to all you guys out there. I want to talk about one more thing. Damn, man, forgive me. I know you guys probably saying supers, man. Goodness gracious, I'll be forgetting to read these off. Man, my bad, man. Shout out to all you guys out there, my man. Puhi Pure, Blood, YT, what up, man? Coming through. Happy holidays, Robin. That clown is the Cho King. Yo, for real, man. Shout out to you out there. I don't know what that is. Is that New Zealand? Shout out to New Zealand. Everybody out there in that area. If I'm right, I might be wrong on that. You know, I'm not too hip on like the currency and stuff like that. But shout out to my man for coming through. You round the money. Happy holidays to you too, man. Shout out to my man Jolly Jossums for coming through. Much respect. The only thing that makes LBJ the chosen one is the media wanting to make him the face of the NBA while he was still in high school. Yup. Now they refuse to admit they were wrong and have to lie. Absolutely. You round the money on that. That's what it is with LeBron James and his family. I told you they have to continue to make excuses for LeBron James. Shout out to man Jai Johnson's coming through again, man. Truly humbling. Don't apologize for ranting. It's in your name. It would be like being called the chosen one and getting locked up by Jason Terry. Bang. Yo, Jolly Johnson's coming through. That's a fantastic comment. You know, I really appreciate you guys, like I said, who roll with me when I go out there and I ramble on and I go off on tangents. But I tell you guys, it always comes back to the original point that I was making, even though I sometimes go off onto these random stories and my own personal life stuff. But I told you guys, this is why I like to give to you guys some of the stories of our own personal life, because I told you this is how I gain perspective, and this is how I'm able to give you the perspective that I have. So I know a lot of you guys appreciate some of the stories I tell you guys and the perspective that I try to give you guys. Much respect. As I said, a lot of you guys have the same perspective that I have on a lot of this stuff, man. So once again, shout out to everybody out there that continues to come through. I wanted to touch on LeBron James and the dirtiness of some of the stuff that I've been noticing that we've seen time and time again in these videos from AOH and others that we've seen posted out here. Even like I said, when you watch LeBron James during these games, if you really watch closely and you know LeBron James, a lot of these tactics, a lot of shoves in the backs while guys are in midair. LeBron James does it a lot. I don't think people realize it as often because, once again, the announcers, the broadcasters, they'll never highlight this stuff. But if it was the reverse and LeBron James was doing this, right, getting pushed in the back like that, He goes flying to the floor, tumbles over, rolls around, and there's a bunch of whistles. And, everybody in the broadcast booth is, up in arms, talking about, LeBron James should be a flagrant. The guy should be ejected. When you talk about, shout out to Cal Young, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Troy Black, what up, man? Revolutionary. David Young Sr., what up, man? Yeah, I know, man. Shout out to you guys. I know these notifications, man. It's like, AOH be telling me, too, that he never gets notifications when I do this stuff. I know it's messed up, man. So hopefully you guys can catch it. Like I said, maybe you can catch it later or catch it earlier on, the beginning part later on. So, yeah, I know, guys. You know how it is, man. I feel like I have, everything set up the way it's supposed to be set up. And I don't know how it's supposed to be set up on your guys' end as far as notifications or getting them or not getting them. I know I hear guys mention sometimes in their videos about hitting a bell or something. I think it's like a bell. I don't know. I might be making that up. There might be like a notification bell. So I don't know if that has to be on or it has to be active. So I don't know how this stuff works. So once again, man, yeah, Troy Black, you don't get notifications. See, some of you guys do, some of you guys don't. It's weird. See, and this is what we're talking about. This is the inconsistent nature. YouTube is like LeBron James, right? YouTube is like LeBron James, man. Like some guys do good, some guys don't do good. Some guys, they're inconsistent with this stuff, right? Some guys get banned for certain stuff, and some people can put whatever they want out there. Some people can continue to put lies out there on the internet. I mean, think about some of these channels. They continue to grow and get viewership, where someone like AOH will struggle when this man puts out facts. He's just putting out the facts. These other channels, they're gonna be lying. They put out straight lies, crap content, but nothing is said. No one cares. They can continue to be getting all this promotion, have all these things that they do, make all this money, and I got people telling me that I'm talking about LeBron James for money. I ain't making money like that. If a lot of these channels were making the money that I'm making on YouTube, they would probably turn their channel off. That's why I said it's not about the money for me, because I ain't making money like that. And that's what I say, it's never been about that. So when these people do these things and they talk about this stuff, and we talk about how YouTube, like I said, is inconsistent with the promoting. I mean, there are people that tell me that they subscribe to my channel and then they wake up in the morning and they're unsubscribed to my channel. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's just one day you wake up and you're unsubscribed from my channel. So how does that work, right? It doesn't make any sense. Why are you unsubscribed to my channel all of a sudden, right? So it's crazy how sometimes I'll wake up in the morning sometimes and my subscribers went down like 10. And I'm like, I lost 10 subscribers overnight, randomly, right? That's how it is for my channel. That's why people be like, oh, your channel should have more subscribers. Your channel should be bigger than it is. And I agree that, yeah, based off of the things that I'm giving you, the facts that I'm putting out, absolutely, man. Like I told you, people ain't doing it like this. But the problem is, like I told you, is that my channel fluctuates up and down. I get subscribers, I lose subscribers. Sometimes my videos do okay. Sometimes my videos don't do okay as far as overall views go. I don't know why that is. It doesn't matter to me. Like I said, I'm never really doing content to try to base it off of the views that I can get based off the content. That's never what it's been about. So if we continue to do what we do, like I said, continue to put the facts out here, that's what we're going to do. And when you see LeBron is out there, like I said, out here throwing these illegal screens, so AOH's putting the illegal screens out. I guess they don't like LeBron James, and AOH's putting the illegal screens out there. But that's what you see a lot, right? LeBron James throwing his shoulder into people. I mean, you're seeing like trying to hurt people out there. It's dirty tactics. He's always trying to go after the little guys, like guys who are little than him, and lower into them. Remember, we highlighted yesterday in the live stream that play that with Dylan Brooks, where LeBron James was trying to hit him with the elbow, and Dylan Brooks, right? He faked LeBron James, and he saw it coming. He studied LeBron James' moves. He knows what's coming. And he got LeBron James stumbling because he tried to come in and lean into him with the elbow. And Dylan Brooks wasn't falling for that nonsense. These are the kinds of things we're talking about, man. LeBron James is a dirtbag player, man. A dirty player. And he's been doing this for years now. All these little things. That's why we laugh when LeBron James plays an entire game and has 0 fouls. And then AOH breaks down the video footage. And this man's fouling people all over the place. Fouling people everywhere. He's throwing shoulders, elbows. He's clearing dudes out. Remember Luke Cornett? Luke Cornett took a whole elbow. Remember, bang, nothing called, and dunked it, and then yelled in his face. He just elbowed him in the face. And LeBron James does it a lot. He loves to clear people out with that arm. He just swipes it. Remember Isaiah Stewart? Bang, he caught him in the eye. Bow. This is what he does. He swipes the arm. He pushes guys in the back. He sticks his leg out to try to trip guys up. He tries to hip check dudes with his butt. He's doing all kinds of things out there in the court. 33 minutes of 0 fouls. And you'll watch him do all of that. 0 fouls in a game. And they talk about Michael Jordan got all the calls. What? You showing Michael Jordan doing screens like that? That's crazy. Anytime Michael Jordan did anything remotely close to this stuff, he would get called for it. The standard was much higher. LeBron James out there throwing people out of the way. You guys see it time and time again. They'll talk about Michael Jordan 98 pushing off on Byron Russell. Michael Jordan pushed off on Byron Russell. Are you kidding me? Anything that we've seen LeBron James do is 10 times more egregious than some kind of quote-unquote push you want to tell me that Michael Jordan did on Byron Russell in that moment. In that moment, when I've seen Michael Jordan do that move time and time and time again. Michael Jordan hit Dan Marley with a similar move, basically the same move from the other side of the court in the 93 finals some years before. He was doing that for years. That's part of Michael Jordan's game. LeBron James ain't got no game like that. Ain't got no moves like that. So what is he doing? He's using that for the advantage to throw guys away. Michael Jordan was able to get a guy going in one way and cross over and go the other way and stop on the down. You won't see LeBron James do this kind of stuff. When you see LeBron James, I told you, the sun will shine and LeBron James will bust a move out. Every once in a while, absolutely. He's an all-time great. He'll bust a move out, but it ain't fluid. It ain't like that. It ain't consistent. Michael Jordan's moves were fluid. They were consistent. A lot of the great perimeter guys, they were fluid. They were more consistent. Larry Bird was more fluid than LeBron James, more consistent out there than LeBron James, more fundamentally sound when you watch Larry Bird play. The pivot footwork of Larry Bird. Think about Larry Bird's ball fakes. Larry Bird's ball fakes are legendary in and of itself. Larry Bird was ball faking dudes like the N1 mixtape out there in the 80s. Ball faking things around guys, going between their legs, faking over their head and shooting in their face. He was pump faking dudes and shooting on them. LeBron James can't do that. I mean, think about Michael Jordan's one-handed ball fakes. Those are legendary. I mean, when you think about some of these great players, when you talk about Kobe Bryant's footwork, right, off the pivot, LeBron James don't have that. We illustrated that in one of the video clips in the live yesterday, right? And the broadcaster told you that was beautiful footwork by LeBron James. That was not beautiful footwork. That was not Kobe Bryant-esque. That was not footwork of a Hakeem Olajuwon type of player. This is, once again, LeBron James out there doing nonsensical things on the basketball court that's not graceful, not like Michael Jordan. Oh, man, that was crazy. Yo, shout out to all you guys out there, man. Once again, man, I continue to come through. But these are the facts, man. This is what we're talking about. LeBron James, that's it, and the other great players, when you talk about what they were doing on the basketball court, and you're talking about LeBron James being a dirty player and having all these advantages out there, and still, like I said, never being consistent like that. Even though you have all these advantages that we witnessed on the basketball court from LeBron James, allowed to foul guys all over the place, travel with the basketball, carry the basketball, all up and down the court. All up and down the court. And still, they make excuses. Laughable. Laughable. I remember seeing David Robinson, right? In the 90s, David Robinson. I remember seeing David Robinson do a Euro step on a fast break on Michael Jordan, man, and dunk the basketball. A lot of these guys, they were more coordinated, it seemed to me, than LeBron. Like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but to me, it seems like LeBron James has become less coordinated as he's gotten older. He seems to become more discombobulated as he's gotten older. Like I said, he seems to become more sloppy as he's gotten older throughout his career. Yo, shout out to all you guys out there coming through. My man, Scaly Reptile, coming through. Lizard Lounge, coming through. Gifting 5 Sports and Fitness Rants memberships. Yo, you guys truly humble me. Like I said, it means a lot. Sure, you guys have been fans for a while. Subscribe to my channel, support my channel for a minute, man. It means a lot. So much respect to you guys out there. Shout out to my man, the G Coalition brother, 1729 coming through with the super. What's more ridiculous? Telling men all you need to do is take a pill and your life will be a Ric Flair promo, or trying to sell Mr. GOAT James' case while he exposed his fraudulent legacy by the play or by the day. Absolutely. Shout out to the G Coalition, brother, 1729, for coming through. It means a lot for you to come through with a super like that. For real. Like I said, you guys know how I feel about the donations. It means a lot, man. It's truly humbling. Thanks to anybody would donate $1, man, to me, because I know how hard money is to come by in this world, man. So shout out to all you guys. And yeah, you on the money. I'm telling you guys that whole pill stuff, like I said, man, we won't go back into that too much. But just think about it. You don't need it, guys. I'm telling you guys right now, like I said, man, I get it. You know, if you're young out there, but trust me, if you're young, you don't need it, guys. You don't need it. Especially I said the young guys, you don't need this stuff, man. You're young, you're healthy, you're strong. You know what I'm saying? You don't need this stuff. Like I said, it's all about your mind and the confidence you have in yourself, man. Don't worry about this stuff, man. Don't worry about what the ladies think about you. Damn it, you a man. Okay, but what the ladies think about you, laughing at you, there, don't worry about that nonsense, man. You go out there, like I said, you go out there and you do your thing, man. You represent, you hold it down. That's what men do, man. I'm saying, we in charge out here, damn it. Will these people intimidate you, get you all nervous? You don't need no damn pills. You don't need no powders. You don't need none of that nonsense, man. Like I said, make some smart nutritional choices, man. I'm telling you right now, you start eating better, you start moving around more, things will start working better, man. You know what I'm talking about when I say things will start working better. Trust me, man. Once again, we talk about them trying to sell Mr. GOAT James, man, LeBron James. That's what it's about. The only way that they can sell LeBron James to you guys is, remember, by, once again, promoting the lies and the narratives. That's why when you go to these channels, that's all it's about for them on these channels. They try to promote all this rewriting of history about Michael Jordan and his era, right? And they love to promote these narratives for, LeBron James. You can tell that they have no clue what they're talking about when they try to promote the lies about Michael Jordan. The way they talk about Scottie Pippen, the Phil Jacksons, the era of the 90s overall. They don't have a clue about these guys and, man, what they could do on the basketball court, man. Once again, shout out to my man, G Coalition brother. But that's exactly what it is. Every single day, I told you, the longer LeBron James plays, the further and further away he gets from these other all-time greats, man. I told you, this is laughable what's going on right now. Absolutely laughable when you talk about the chemistry that he's wrecking on the Lakers right now. I mean, it's like I said, we called this. Yo, shout out to Yowza Bag, 1772, always coming through. Much respect. JJ is crying about effort and defense. So why don't you just bench LeBron? Easy fix. Absolutely. See, and this is the problem I had. Is that JJ Redick continues to play LeBron James for 30-plus minutes a night. I don't understand it. So like you said, Yowza Bag, why don't you bench this fool? Get him out there for 50. I mean, listen, if you can't bench him because you're playing him all his money, he's LeBron James, okay. But not 33 minutes a night. I mean, my good, 25? Can we do 25? I don't understand what you're getting. There's no value there. There's no value from LeBron James any longer. There hasn't been value from LeBron James in a long, long time. Not based off of what he's getting paid. Not based off of who he's getting promoted to be. Remember, he's supposed to be the 8th best player in the league right now, guys. Think about that for a second. The 8th best player in the league. And once again, LeBron James, what, negative 60 on the season? Where's he on the season? Negative 50 something or whatever he is? Again, the 8th best player in the NBA, LeBron James, right now? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? There's like 30, 40, 50 guys in the league right now better than LeBron James. Easily. I told you, at the minimum, every team's best player is better than LeBron James. I don't give a damn what team it is. I don't care if it's the Wizards. Every team's best player is better than LeBron James, man. So that's the minimum. That's the minimum. All right? Now, we can start talking about the second best player on these teams, the third best. So we're talking about 90 guys now, all of a sudden. But at the minimum, the best player on every NBA team is better than LeBron James, man. But he's 8th. He's 8th. And remember, they had Austin Reeves, 66th. 66th. If that's the case, if that's a fair and true assessment of Austin Reeves coming into this season, then LeBron James should have been ranked like 75th, 80th, 90th, 100th, somewhere like that. How was he 8th then? That's insane to me. He was negative 54 last year. I don't remember what Austin Reeves was, but I know he wasn't negative 54. All right? But he was 66th. What are you promoting? You're not promoting NBA. You're not promoting basketball. You're not doing the NBA in basketball service here. This is laughable. All NBA second team. That's why he's 8th. How is he all NBA second? You see how that goes, guys? You see? All NBA second team, which would allow him to be 8th player or best player in the league coming into this season. He was all NBA second team. That's how you can justify it. Oh, look at his stats. Negative 54. Where was those stats in the playoffs? Nowhere to be found. Remember, they blamed it on him having to guard Rudy Gobert. They blamed it on Luka Doncic's lack of physical conditioning and his lack of defense. They forced Luka Doncic to have a midlife crisis in his 20s because they were talking about how much of not in shape he was, even though the man was like 5 consecutive All-NBA first teams, an MVP candidate, led his team to an NBA Finals. Nah, he needs to get in better shape. He needs to take it more serious. He needs to do X, Y, Z. LeBron James don't got to do nothing, though. LeBron just got to keep doing what LeBron James does. Just keep doing your thing, LeBron. You don't got to change nothing. What? Come on, man. This stuff is getting crazy out here. You guys know the deal, man. These are the facts out here, man. Once again, man, shout out to all you guys. I hope I didn't miss anybody's supers. I think I read everybody's supers off. I'm probably going to get ready to stop the live stream soon. Maybe a couple more minutes, maybe like 10 more minutes. But like I said, man, you guys can see, man. Like I said, I wanted to do a live today because, I wasn't able to keep the live stream up from yesterday. Shout out to everybody that came through the live stream yesterday with me and AOH. Shout out to my man AOH. I don't know if he was in the chat, but I know he was listening because he had hit me up. So shout out to him. So I hope you guys enjoyed that story about Michael Jordan. Full court with Michael Jordan. Like I said, September 14th, 1985. A month before he ended up hurting his foot out there in his second NBA season. He went out there and put on a show, scored 71 points. They ended up winning the charity game. I think it was like 93 to like 90. I think the final score was for the charity game. Like I said, and this is part of Michael Jordan building the brand on the court. This is part of the legend, right? This is part of building Air Jordan, right? Doing the slam dunk contest. I mean, think about it, guys. People never think about Michael Jordan doing the slam dunk contest after he broke his foot. He won it after he broke his foot. So remember, his rookie year, he competed, right? He competed that year in his rookie season. But remember, he broke his foot the next year. And then he came back and did the slam dunk contest 2 more times after he broke his foot. So he could have made a decision and be like, yo, I'm not going to go out here and compromise myself by doing the slam dunk contest and trying to hurt myself, put on a show for these people by doing something crazy in a slam dunk contest. I'm going to sit it out. I'm going to do a LeBron James. I'm going to be the first superstar since they just remember, they had just instituted a slam dunk contest. They had just brought it into the NBA. So if he would have been like, yeah, I'm going to sit this out, then you don't get the matchup with Dominique Wilkins, right? You don't get the moments. You don't get the free throw line dunk like that, right? You don't get the Air Jordan. You don't get it if he decides to do that. But instead, Michael Jordan, after the broken foot, still went out there the next season and competed in the slam dunk contest. He did that. I talked to you guys about Dr. J. I told you, Dr. J competed in the slam dunk contest at 34 years old. All right? And you get that moment of Dr. J and Michael Jordan in the slam dunk contest, right? Rookie Michael Jordan and Dr. J there in that slam dunk contest because Dr. J competed in the slam dunk contest because it mattered. It was prestigious. He was trying to uplift the game. This is how he pushed the game forward and uplifted the game. You get that moment. Dr. J did that at that age when I told you guys won't do that in their 20s now. They'll be 22, 21, 20 years old. Won't do the slam dunk contest. Dr. J did it when he was in his mid-30s. Out there representing. Like I said, because he was Dr. J. It wasn't about him winning or losing the slam dunk contest. It was about him going out there. Right? He stepped out there on that platform. On that stage. LeBron James did the skills challenge 2 times, but never did the dunk contest. To me, that's where you really expose yourself. And that, to me, speaks volumes about LeBron James and his lack of creativity, originality, and his fear of failure. That's what it speaks to. You did the skills challenge twice, but you didn't do the dunk contest at least once? Dude, you're lame as hell. You are lame, man. That's weak. Weak as hell. That would be like Michael Jordan doing the 1990 3-point contest, but never doing the dunk contest. He just came out one year and was like, yo, I'm going to try a 3-point contest, y'all. And people are like, you going to do the 3-point contest? Dude, we've been waiting for you to do the dunk contest. What's up with that, Mike? But I don't have to say that. We ain't got to say that because Mike went out there and did his thing, right? So when we talk about him doing the 3-point contest, he was going out there having a good time with the All-Star weekend, not afraid to fail. LeBron James ducked down the slam dunk contest, but then comes out and does a skills challenge. Dude, you're lame. Don't nobody want to see you do a skills challenge. You ain't got skills. So we're going to end it on that. You guys know the deal, man. I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday. I hope you guys, if you guys are watching football, maybe your team's in it. Obviously, you know, we made a joke about the Giants yesterday. You know what's really frustrating about the Giants this season is that they were in a lot of games this year. I mean, they should have beaten the Denver Broncos this year. I mean, some of the teams, they shouldn't beat the Cowboys this year several times. They actually beat the Eagles once. They should have won a lot of these games that they end up losing. The Bears. Like, there were so many teams that they were beating, and they lost. Really good teams. So that's the most frustrating part about the Giants season this year is that they gave up a lot of fourth-quarter leads in a lot of these games, man. But the Giants overall, like I said, terrible season. So football's been pretty much dead. I told you it's like week 3, week 4 for the Giants, man. I mean, my goodness, horrendous. So shout out to you guys go out there and watch some football today. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Like I said, this live will stay up. I'm not going to take this one down. I know some of you guys said we're upset because we had taken down the live from yesterday. Some of you guys had missed it and were hitting me up about that. So I wanted to do one to you, give you one today. Shout out to my man Birdman, G24Ds. That's right, Dominic Wilkins, Drexler, all those guys were out there, man, put on a show. They didn't sit it out. Like Drexler didn't sit it out. Dominic Wilkins didn't sit it out. Spud Webb was out there doing it, right? Like these guys went out there and competed, man. They went out there and put on a show. Larry Nance, shout out to Larry Nance, man. The old guys went out there. Sean Kemp went out there and competed in slam dunk contest, right? Kobe Bryant went out there and competed in slam dunk contest. Did he not? Yes, he did. Right? Vince Carter went out there and these guys kept it in line, right? They kept it in line. Tracy McGrady, right? All the great athletes, all the great dunkers, the superstar level players, they all competed in the slam dunk contest. It was a tradition, a tradition. It wasn't about the winning and the losing necessarily. Yeah, these guys wanted to win it. You wanted to see them go and put in a show, but they were out there competing in it. They stepped on the court. Shout out to my man Vern Lee Warren. What up, man? Like I said, shout out to all you guys. Dana Green, what up? Yeah, that's right, a 3-point contest. You know the deal. Like I said, that would have been crazy if Michael Jordan would have went out there and did a 3-point contest, but didn't do a dunk contest. We all looked at Michael Jordan like, dude, that don't make no sense. Like I said, he didn't do things like that because he knows that wouldn't have made no sense. He wouldn't have been able to build his brand up from the 3-point line. Yeah, buy the Air Jordans. Is it the shoes? Go out there and brick up threes from the 3-point line and 3-point contest, which is what Michael Jordan did. But that's not what it was about. What you saw in that moment was Michael Jordan not being afraid to go out there. He'd already proven himself in the All-Star weekend. The legend was already born. You know what I'm saying? You guys know the deal. Like I said, man, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for the support. You guys know the deal, man. You know I'm truly, truly humble, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.